All right. Look, this is the most sports talk thing in sports talk history. It is. It's fun to talk about because Doug Whaley brought it up on our show last week. It is fun to talk about. But I don't care if Troy Polamalu and O.J. Simpson call me and tell me that it's imminent, and the Song Girls spell his name out in placards on the sideline. Mike Tomlin is coming to USC. It's just he's not leaving the Steelers for USC. It's fun to talk about. I kind of wish more media people nationally would say that it started with Doug Whaley on the Fan Morning Show, because that's exactly where this all started. But it is a little bit curious, may even be too strong, but that it's starting to catch fire in other places.
Well, what's interesting to me, and look, I mentioned it when we had Brad Spielberger on a couple minutes ago. I am all for having conversations that seem to find a wisp of smoke and believe there's a fire behind the door, even if it's not that at all. Because I do think, like you said, it's fun to talk about in that you can try to paint the scenarios that might make sense. And when you go back and look at the transcription of what Doug actually said, and Ron Cook in his column yesterday actually put nearly the whole thing into words by writing it out. You look at it from, if you take the name Mike Tomlin off of it, I guess, and you just say an NFL head coach, right? Not necessarily an NFL head coach of a storied franchise with a decade and a half of experience who can basically call the shots and keep his own job as long as he wants to keep it, right? You put NFL head coach in there instead of Mike Tomlin, and I can start to see angles that make a whole lot of sense because of the money, because of the prestige, because of, all the things that Doug laid out. I just come back to, if I'm Mike Tomlin and I like to coach football, and I've explicitly stated I'm not interested in a rookie, bringing in some rookie first-round draft pick quarterback to try and develop, then what would compel me to go to a recruit's house and try to convince a 17-year-old to come play football for me?
He's got the best job in all of football right now, because not because of the quarterback situation, not because of, I said this last week, not because of it, because of stability. Every football coach seemingly looks at Mike Tomlin and goes, I wish I had that stability. These guys are vagabonds. They move 400 times between the time that they're 25 and that they retire. This guy has not had to move. He's not going to have to move. He's not going to have to take a demotion in order to try to get promoted again. He's a Steelers coach for a long time. It just, and I told Doug this, it makes zero sense to me. It could make sense to people trying to put dots together. It makes zero sense to me.
I will say this. It's not 0.0 cents, from my opinion, because, again, you throw out enough money at anybody, and they may be compelled to take on that position if you throw enough money at them. But I don't know if Mike Tomlin's that guy. That's the only thing. I don't think he's going to be swayed by that.
No, I can't imagine him, the coddling that would have to go on to teenagers, to boosters, to I don't know who else, and to make sure it's just different.
But are you really, if you're a CEO, and look, I don't think it would ever happen, but to that argument, I say this. A lot of times once you arrive at a level, and he'd walk into a pretty high level, like Saban doesn't do that. What happens is all the underlings put it on a platter. It happens.
You just close.
And then you just close. Yeah. So the fact that it, like, people say that, and again, this will never happen, but like Mike Tomlin isn't going to be driving between Riverside, California, and Bakersfield on a Tuesday night. That just, no. That's what you see now, these high-end guys getting recruited, and it's assistants at games a lot of times, and then you step in the last step of the process. That won't make this any more something that he wants to do, but when people bring that up, it's just not fact.
Right. No, he's not going to sit down to eat, a macaroni and cheese and
Saban's
and a casserole.
Not in Mobile, and then the next night in Addison, then the next night in Abilene,
No, they have
Texas.
infrastructure built around these teams around these programs to take care of that for these guys, these big name guys.
The money would be outrageous, but the money what's he making, like $5-6 million, something like that? And could he make twice that much? Sure, but after he has like 2-3 lost seasons in a row, then he's out, and he's here. Unless something goes terribly wrong, he has a job for life, really.
The other angle, as we try to connect dots, right, and try to make sense of this, and is there any way it could work? Whether you're like Colin and you believe it's 0.0%, or you're like me and you think it's 0.01%.
I'm kind of halfway in between.
Yeah. Is you look at it and you say, oh, well, we had discussed this last week, Colin. Mm-hmm. One of the days Jim was off. what is the future for Mike Tomlin, right? We played out the different scenarios, like how much longer he may be head coach in Pittsburgh and how he decides to depart from the role at some point in the future. If he decided at some point in the next, 3 or 4 years, hey, you know what? I think I'm reaching the end of the line. I don't have the same fire or energy for the job anymore that I once did. And somebody came to him then and said, all right, we're going to throw this boatload of money at you. Come here and try it. Just see what you think, right? And if he said, well, yeah, I'm not enjoying bringing along this rookie quarterback we drafted in the second round, and it's not working out, and Rudolph and Haskins didn't work, you know what? I'll take a kick at the can for a couple of years and see how it goes there. That is one avenue where maybe you can cook up. But again, I don't think Mike Tomlin's going to leave, like you said, the most secure role in all of football other than someone who owns a franchise and say, yep, you know what, I'm going to forgo that security to go to a place where they'll try to run me out of town in 3 years if I don't win a bowl game or go to a playoff.
Producer Matt said the same thing. He just wishes that people would say, hey, you know where that all started? On the Fan Morning Show in Pittsburgh, right?
Get some credit here.
Doug wanted to stir things up. He did.
I know, he definitely did.